Stop scrolling. What if I told you? The delay wasn't denial, it was divine. You've been crying, questioning, wondering if you missed your moment. But here's the truth. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You are right on schedule. God's schedule. You see, chosen one. The world moves fast. Everyone's chasing something. Money, status, fame. And when it feels like you're falling behind, the enemy whispers lies. You're too old. You missed it. Look at them. They're ahead. You should have been further. But I came with truth today. God doesn't operate by the clocks of man. His timing is perfect. And if you felt left out, it's because you were being set apart. You haven't missed your calling. You've been prepared for it. You haven't been overlooked. You've been hidden for protection. Because what's coming requires strength. It requires faith. And most importantly, it requires timing. Right now, heaven is aligning the pieces. The doors that were once shut are creaking open. What looked like delays were actually detours from destruction. Think back. All the moments where you thought, why not now? Why not me? Every no you received, every unanswered prayer was heaven's strategic silence. God was preparing the scene for your grand entrance. Not rushed, not random, but right. On time. There's a rhythm to your purpose, and you're about to catch it. The right people are being drawn to you. The right doors are being assigned your name. You thought you were behind, but you're in perfect step with divine timing. And not only are you on time, you're early for something bigger than you imagined. Let that sink in. You haven't seen the full picture, but God has. He knew the pain would shape you. He knew the silence would strengthen you. He allowed you to walk through the valley so when you rise, when you truly rise, it would be with unshakable faith, not flimsy emotion. You don't just want quick success, you want lasting impact. That's why the process took time. And you didn't waste a second. Every tear, every late night, every breakdown was a part of your divine preparation. You didn't miss your moment. You became your moment. And now, the world will witness what happens when God says, now. Not before, not after, but now. You thought you needed more time, but the truth is, you're ready. You thought the delay was punishment, but it was preservation. And the reason it hurt so bad, because your spirit always knew something greater was coming. It wasn't anxiety, it was anticipation. Your soul felt the shift before your eyes saw the sign. That's because you're chosen. And chosen ones move to the rhythm of heaven, not the noise of culture. So breathe. You're not late. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. While others rushed ahead and burned out, you were built slow, strong, steady. You weren't delayed. You were developed. God saw every private struggle, every moment you wanted to give up, every time you whispered, God, did you forget me? And yet, He whispered back, just trust me. I'm building something that's going to shake the earth through you. And now it's time. The waiting season is turning into the walking season. No more crawling through pain. You're walking into purpose. You're stepping into rooms that once felt too big. You're speaking with a boldness you never had before. Not because you trained harder, but because you surrendered deeper. You see, the enemy wanted you to believe it was too late, but he underestimated the fire that delay would create in you. You're not just coming back. You're coming back unstoppable. That silence built your roar. That delay built your focus. That pause built your power. And now, the world better get ready, because you didn't miss it. You are it. Chosen one. I know what it feels like to see others move forward while you feel stuck. I know what it feels like to question your purpose, to doubt your value, to wonder if God skipped you. But I'm here to tell you, He didn't. He saw you. He sees you. And now, the stage is set. Your name is being mentioned in rooms you've never walked into. Favor is finding your address. Blessings are chasing you down, not because you forced it, but because you trusted through the silence. You thought you were behind, But God was building something that couldn't be rushed. He was preparing you for influence, not just applause. He was anchoring you in purpose so you wouldn't be shaken by popularity. That's why it took time. So now, walk with confidence. The time is now. No more guilt over wasted years. No more shame about missed opportunities. God restores time. He multiplies what you thought was lost. And what's coming? It's so significant that the enemy tried everything to delay your belief. But guess what? He failed, because you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still believing. And now, every step forward is going to make up for every season of waiting. The years the locusts ate, restored. The doors that slammed in your face, replaced. The people who walked away, irrelevant. What God is bringing you into is so custom-made for you that no one else could have occupied your place. You're not late. You're right on time. Chosen one, do you feel that shift in your spirit? That undeniable knowing that something is different now? That's not imagination. That's confirmation. God is turning the page. The waiting room is behind you. You're not hoping for change anymore. You're walking in it. And every step you take from this moment forward is drenched in divine timing. The enemy fought you hardest right before this shift because he knew what you didn't, that your breakthrough was closer than it looked. He wanted you to quit while you were one breath away from the door opening. But you didn't quit. You stayed. You prayed. You kept showing up even when your heart was tired. And because of that, heaven is now showing up for you. Everything that once looked like a closed chapter is now turning into a testimony. The places that used to remind you of pain, now they'll remind you of perseverance. The very people who overlooked you will soon have no choice but to acknowledge that God has raised you up, not by man's promotion, but by divine elevation. And no, you're not walking into this season timidly. You're walking in bold. Why? Because you earned every scar. You earned every stripe. You didn't just stumble into this. God formed you for this. He let the storms come to prove what he already knew, that even shaken, you'd still stand. Even cracked, you wouldn't break. You thought you were buried, but God was planting you. You didn't grow in the spotlight. You grew in the soil. While no one was clapping, while no one was watching, your roots went deep. And now, when the world sees you bloom, they won't understand how you grew so fast. But you'll know. You'll remember the seasons of silent obedience. You'll remember the late nights of surrender. You'll remember the wilderness that taught you how to hear God in the quiet. So let the world catch up to what heaven has already announced. Your time is now. Your voice matters now. Your gift is needed now. That idea, that dream, that passion that wouldn't die, it was never random. It was your assignment, and it's about to explode with purpose. You thought you were late. No, God was saving you for this exact moment, because the world needed a version of you that wasn't diluted, a version that had been through enough to have compassion, a version that had cried enough to carry depth, a version that had waited long enough to lead with wisdom, not ego. And now, that version of you is here. This isn't just about a promotion or a breakthrough or a miracle. It's about alignment. God is aligning everything. Your gifts, your timing, your opportunities, your relationships. And when God aligns it, no one can unseat it. What he opens, no man can shut. And what he ordains, no hater, no system, no delay can cancel. You are walking into rooms that were closed for years. Why? Because now you're ready to sustain what's on the other side. Now you won't shrink to fit. You won't dim to be accepted. You won't pretend to be less than what you are to make others comfortable. You've been hidden long enough. You've been quiet long enough. This is your time to speak, to shine, to step fully into the light of your calling. And if you're still doubting, listen closely. God is not just trying to get blessings to you. He's trying to get them through you. You are a vessel, and the favor on your life isn't just for your survival, it's for others' revival. Your story, your rise, your restoration will be someone else's confirmation. Someone else's miracle is tied to your obedience. You were never late. You were being matured. There's a fire inside of you now that wasn't there before. You no longer need applause to move. You no longer crave validation to believe. That's what the delay did. It refined you. It stripped away the performance and rooted you in purpose. And now that you're rooted, you cannot be moved. So when the doors open, and they will, walk through them like you were born to. Because you were. When the blessings fall, receive them without guilt. You paid the price in private. When the people ask how you got here, point them to God. Because you know you couldn't have done this alone. Everything that's coming into your life is not a coincidence. It's not a stroke of luck. It's a divine collision of preparation and timing. The money, the connections, the platforms, the peace, they're all catching up to you because you stayed the course. You didn't abort the process. Chosen one, the heavens are celebrating you. Right now, because you dared to keep going. Because you refused to be defined by delay. Because you finally understand that being on time with God is better than being early without Him. You are not disqualified. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are right on time. And now, the world will see what heaven always knew, that the wait was never a waste. It was a setup. This is your moment. This is your now. This is your divine arrival. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere around you? That tension you once felt in your chest has started to melt. That anxiety about being left behind is breaking off, and what's replacing it is divine clarity. It's like the fog is lifting, and you can finally see the path God always had prepared for you. You didn't miss the path. You were just being matured before walking it. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it didn't look like it along the way. Remember those prayers you whispered in desperation. God heard every single one. Not one tear was wasted. Not one delay was ignored. He was working even when you thought He was silent. And now you're going to start seeing why it all had to happen the way it did. You were never behind schedule. You were just being recalibrated for a higher assignment. What others received quickly, you were required to build deeply. Why? Because your blessing wasn't just for you. It was generational. You weren't preparing for a moment. You were preparing for a mantle. And mantles don't come cheap. They're heavy. They require strength. They demand patience. And you, chosen one, endured what would have broken others. You stood when it was easier to run. You waited when it was easier to settle. You trusted when it made no sense. And now you are rising not just with victory, but with authority. There's a boldness that's coming on you now. Not arrogance, not pride, but a holy boldness that can't be shaken. Because when you've seen the valley, you don't fear the mountain. When you've survived the drought, you value the rain. You appreciate every drop. And that's why abundance won't destroy you. Because lack taught you how to steward it. Chosen one, you've been trained in the shadows for a spotlight moment. But this spotlight won't blind you. It'll reflect the glory of God shining through you. You are about to step into opportunities that don't even make sense to others. Doors will open for you that people thought were sealed shut. Not because you networked your way in, but because favor picked you. Favor doesn't follow logic. It follows obedience. And that's why it's coming now. That's why people who once ignored you will now seek your presence. They'll wonder how you did it. They'll ask what changed. And you'll know, it wasn't luck, it was alignment. God had to protect you from premature exposure. You had to grow in silence or your fruit would speak for itself. And now, your fruit is undeniable. Peace is evident. Wisdom is overflowing. Strategy is clear. The ideas, the creativity, the discernment, it's all flowing now because you're finally in sync with the season God designed for you. This is not the season to second guess. This is not the time to shrink. You are not an imposter in the rooms you're entering. You belong there. Because you were sent, not just invited. When heaven sends you, no man can cancel you. When God says, now, Every voice that said, never, becomes irrelevant. And right now, God is saying now. This is your yes season. This is your harvest. What you sowed in tears, you are about to reap in joy. The years of praying, fasting, trusting, and believing were not in vain. Heaven kept a record. And God never forgets faithfulness. He rewards it. That's why the acceleration will be so extreme, it'll look like you skipped steps. But don't be fooled, you didn't skip anything. You just paid the price in private, and now the world is seeing the payout. The years the enemy tried to convince you were wasted, God is redeeming them. In days, in moments, in ways that will make your head spin. People will ask how it happened so fast, but you'll know, it didn't happen fast. It happened faithful. You just stayed faithful when it didn't make sense. You showed up when no one was clapping. You gave when you barely had anything to give. You served when you were empty. You trusted when you didn't see a thing changing. That's why it's your time now. Because you were faithful with little. And now, God is trusting you with much. This next season won't be about striving. It'll be about receiving. It won't be about chasing. It'll be about attracting. Your energy will shift. Your prayers will deepen. Your circle will elevate. Why? Because the old version of you can't walk into this new season. You've outgrown the version of yourself that doubted everything. You've shed the skin of insecurity. You've broken through the lies of shame. You've healed wounds you never thought you'd confront. And because of that, you're walking lighter, freer, stronger. You thought you were late because others seemed faster, but they weren't faster. They were just on a different assignment. You had a unique path, and now that path is clear. That road is open. That assignment is unlocked. Chosen one, you didn't miss your moment. You were becoming the moment. The world has seen enough surface success, but what it's about to witness through you is supernatural, impactful, eternal. You're not just about to rise. You're about to lift others with you. Your life is becoming proof that trusting God works. That waiting on Him is never wasted. That obedience always pays off. You're not late. You're launched. You are exactly where you need to be, right on the edge of everything you've been praying for. And what's coming is bigger than what you imagined. Because God doesn't give small answers to deep prayers. He responds with overflow, with pressed down, shaken together, running over kind of blessings. You're about to live in overflow. And He'll know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you didn't get here on your own. Grace brought you here. Mercy sustained you. Favor opened the way. And now, glory will rest on everything you do. Because you're chosen. And you're right on time. You see, timing with God is never rushed and never delayed. He doesn't operate on your calendar. He operates on divine orchestration. And the delay you once resented was actually God's protection. Because had He given you the breakthrough when you wanted it, you wouldn't have had the depth, the wisdom, or the spiritual weight to carry it. God was never trying to hurt you. He was preparing to entrust something through you. You were always the vessel, but vessels have to be purified before they can carry glory. You thought the fire was a punishment, but it was a refining process, and what came out of it was gold. Pure, radiant, undeniable gold. The fire taught you to pray differently. It taught you to wait with expectation, not despair. It gave you a hunger for God, not just His gifts. You stopped chasing the outcome and started chasing the presence. And because of that, you've come out not just changed, but chosen, anointed, marked. That's why the oil flows now. Not because of perfection, but because of surrender. Not because you got everything right, but because you didn't give up. God doesn't anoint perfection. He anoints persistence. He anoints the one who says, I don't understand it, but I'll still trust you. That was you. That's why the oil is flowing now in places where it once ran dry. People will look at you and see results, but they won't know the wrestle behind your rise. They won't see the silent battles, the nights you questioned everything, the moments you almost threw it all away. But heaven saw. Heaven recorded every sigh. And now, heaven is responding. What used to feel heavy is now becoming light. What felt impossible is now unfolding effortlessly. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because you've aligned with the grace for your assignment. And grace makes it look easy. Grace opens doors without striving. Grace makes the crooked path straight. Grace causes what's meant for you to find you. You're not chasing anymore. You're attracting. You're magnetized by the Spirit of God. What belongs to you is finding its way with precision. The right opportunities, the right partnerships, the right provision, all of it is locating you. Because heaven has issued a release in your name. You used to think everyone else was ahead. That maybe you missed something. But the truth is, you were being hidden for the right moment. Hidden doesn't mean forgotten. It means protected. It means preserved. God shielded you from premature exposure because the weight of your calling required more than quick success. It required deep formation. And now that formation is complete, you've been trusted with pain, and you didn't let it poison you. You've been trusted with isolation, and you didn't let it harden your heart. You've been trusted with uncertainty, and you didn't abandon your faith. That's why you're being trusted with increase now. God can use you because you didn't let bitterness grow where faith should live. Now your spirit is fertile. Your soil is ready. And the seeds that have been sown are about to sprout, all at once, not one at a time. All at once, because when God releases harvest, He doesn't trickle it. He floods it. When it's time, it happens fast. Acceleration replaces stagnation. Momentum replaces confusion. Doors fly open that stayed shut for years. And what took others 10 years to build, God will allow you to build in one. What seemed out of reach will now become standard. You're shifting dimensions, not just seasons. This isn't a small step forward. It's a leap. You'll move so far, so fast, that even you will stand in awe. But don't be surprised. You were built for this. You were born for impact, for influence, for leadership. Even when you doubted it, even when others couldn't see it, God never changed His mind about you. The calling didn't disappear during your breakdowns. It was just waiting for you to rise up in maturity. And now that maturity has arrived, the mission begins. Don't be shocked when people start treating you differently. The oil on your life is undeniable now. It draws favor, but it also exposes envy. But don't worry about the jealousy. It's just a reaction to your elevation. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay humble. Because this is only the beginning. God is not just releasing blessings, He's releasing legacy. This season isn't just about what you get, it's about what you build. You're setting a foundation that your children's children will walk on. You're breaking curses that tried to run through your bloodline. You're shifting the story permanently. And the best part, you're doing it all right on time. Not rushed, not anxious, not desperate. Just aligned, just favored, just steady. That's how chosen ones rise, not with noise, but with power, not with chaos, but with clarity, not with fear, but with faith. So breathe, relax your shoulders. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to strive anymore. All you have to do is flow. Flow with the Spirit, flow with the grace, flow with the timing. Because you're not late. You're exactly where God meant for you to be. Chosen one, this is your divine moment. Don't run from it. Don't shrink in it. Stand tall. Speak boldly. Move intentionally. The same God who carried you through the valley is now leading you into victory. And He didn't bring you this far to stop. He's just getting started. This is not just the next chapter. This is a brand new book. The old story, the old pain, the old labels, they're closing behind you. A new narrative is being written, one where the pen is held by the author of time himself. God is writing something through your life that generations will read. And when they do, they won't see brokenness. They'll see breakthrough. You thought you were disqualified. You thought it was too late. But God is using everything, yes, everything, to elevate you. Your losses, your delays, your disappointments, they were never the end. They were the setup. God was never subtracting. He was preparing for multiplication. He had to strip you down before building you up. And now the building begins. You're not just being restored, you're being reintroduced. And this time, it won't be to prove yourself. It'll be to fulfill your purpose. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You've already got heaven's backing. God has appointed you for such a time as this. This moment, this season, this window, it's tailor-made for you. You're going to walk into rooms that your past said you didn't qualify for. You'll step into spaces that used to intimidate you, but not now. Not this version of you. You've been through the fire, and you didn't just survive. You were refined. You're not the same. You're wiser, stronger, and more discerning than ever before. And that discernment is your secret weapon. You won't be fooled by counterfeit opportunities. You won't waste time entertaining distractions. You've seen too much to be deceived again. You know what peace feels like now. You know what alignment feels like. And you'll know immediately when something isn't sent by God. That's what happens when you walk in divine timing. You don't move emotionally. You move spiritually. You don't chase validation. You rest in identity. You're no longer led by fear. You're led by fire. The fire of purpose, the fire of destiny, the fire of heaven's assignment on your life. And when that fire burns, nothing can stop you. Doors don't intimidate you anymore because you've realized the key was always inside you. You don't knock timidly anymore. You speak with authority. Not arrogance, not pride, but authority. Because when you know who you are in Christ, you stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for being chosen. You step fully into your anointing. And your anointing is loud, even when you're silent. It speaks through your presence, through your decisions, through your resilience. People may not understand you, but they'll respect what's on you. Because anointing can't be explained, only felt. That's what you carry now. You carry presence. You carry oil. You carry power. You're walking into rooms with solutions. You're stepping into assignments with answers. You're moving with the wisdom that only the wilderness can give. You're not trying to be seen. You're being sent. And when you're sent by God, you don't have to strive. You just show up and let heaven do the talking. Chosen one, don't underestimate what's happening right now. This is more than a personal breakthrough. It's a prophetic shift. What's changing in your life is going to ripple out and affect others. Family members will be healed through your obedience. Generational chains will break because you said yes. Nations will be influenced by your decision to not give up. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. Not because of your past, but because of your potential. He saw the weight of your calling and tried to bury you in distraction, fear, and delay. But God had the final say. And what the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for good, right before your eyes. So don't get comfortable. Get ready, because what's coming will stretch you. It'll pull on every gift, every lesson, every ounce of courage you have. But you'll be ready for it, because this time, you're not stepping in blindly. You're stepping in boldly, with clarity and conviction. You're no longer asking for permission to shine. You're embracing the fact that you were made to illuminate. You're not hiding anymore. You're not minimizing your voice. You've been silent long enough. It's time to speak. Time to lead. Time to impact. People are waiting on what God placed in you. They're waiting on your book, your vision, your business, your story. They're waiting on the light in you to guide them. And now, finally, it's time. The delay wasn't denial. It was divine development. And now the release has come. So walk boldly, freely, fearlessly. You're not too late. You're right on time. You were never waiting on time. Time was waiting on you, waiting for you to grow, to trust, to believe again. And now that your faith has matured, time is submitting to your purpose. Things that once seemed far off are now drawing near. Resources are aligning. Divine connections are showing up. And doors that were sealed tight are now opening without force. You don't need to knock anymore with hesitation. You knock knowing it's your moment. You enter with authority, not arrogance. And you sit at the table knowing you were always supposed to be there. Not because of your resume, not because of what the world says, but because God called you. You're walking into promises that once felt like fantasies. You're stepping into favor that doesn't make sense to others. And while they'll say you came out of nowhere, heaven knows you've been in preparation all along. You've been on God's radar while hidden from man's applause. And now, both are aligning. This isn't just your time. This is your evidence. Evidence that God never forgot. Evidence that prayers still move mountains. Evidence that faith is the bridge between seasons. You never stopped believing. Maybe you stumbled, maybe you questioned, but deep inside, something holy held you up. And now that inner fire is becoming an outer flame. They thought you were done, but they didn't know the root was growing deep while nothing showed on the surface. And when roots grow deep, fruit multiplies wide. So don't apologize for the abundance that's about to hit your life. You cried for this. You bled for this. You waited when you could have walked away. And God saw it every tear, every silent war, every lonely night. He saw how you still gave when you had nothing, how you encouraged others while you were empty, how you stayed faithful when no doors opened. That faith didn't go unnoticed. It was stacking in heaven. And now, heaven is paying back in ways you never imagined. The return is not going to match the seed. It's going to exceed it. You sowed tears, but you're about to reap joy. You sowed patience, but you're about to reap power. You sowed hiddenness, but you're about to reap honor. And this harvest will be public, not to show off, but to glorify the one who sustained you. This is your rise. But it's not about ego, it's about assignment. You're rising because there's work to be done. There are lives that need your story. There are hearts that need your voice. And there's a generation waiting to see what it looks like to overcome and stay pure. You've been through the crushing, and now comes the oil. The fragrance of your life is changing. People will notice something different, but they won't be able to explain it. That's the scent of destiny, the aroma of purpose. You carry it now because you've been through what others couldn't survive. You're not just blessed, you're battle-tested. And that testing wasn't punishment, it was promotion in disguise. Because true power doesn't come from platforms, it comes from process. And you've been processed by heaven itself. This is why you'll carry weight when you speak, why rooms will fall silent when you enter, why decisions will shift when you show up. Because you're not showing up alone. You're showing up backed by heaven. And no one can deny what's on your life anymore, not even you. The lies that said you missed it are breaking. The shame that tried to bury you is lifting. The fear that tried to paralyze you is bowing to faith. You're stepping into divine acceleration now. Things are going to move fast, not out of chaos, but out of clarity. Not by force, but by flow. This is divine momentum. You'll feel it in your bones. You'll wake up with strategy. You'll walk with vision. You'll dream with courage. And you'll move with heaven's pace, not the world's pressure. No more comparing your timeline. No more measuring your life against others. You finally understand. Your journey was never supposed to look like theirs. You're on a custom path, with custom grace, walking into custom blessings. What's for you will never feel like striving. It'll feel like surrender. Because God's favor follows obedience, not effort. And you, chosen one, have obeyed when it didn't make sense. You trusted when nothing was clear. And that obedience is now echoing in eternity. Everything is about to change. But don't fear the shift. Embrace it. You were created for movement. You were designed to evolve. You were meant to rise. This isn't a surprise to God. It's His strategy unfolding. So move with Him. Don't cling to what's fading. Let go of what's expired. Something better is reaching for you, but your hands must be free to receive it. Let go of the old identity. Let go of the old shame. Let go of the voices that said it was too late. Because God is not bound by man's clock. He's not looking at your age, your resume, or your mistakes. He's looking at your heart. And he sees it's ready. So now, he moves. And when God moves, everything aligns. Time bends, mountains crumble, hearts shift, and what once seemed impossible becomes your everyday reality. That's what's coming. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because of purpose. Divine, undeniable, irreversible purpose. And you're right on time. Chosen one, what you're feeling right now isn't hype. It's confirmation. It's the Spirit bearing witness that the time you've prayed for, fasted for, cried for, has finally arrived. You are in the hour of divine manifestation. Everything that once felt delayed is now being delivered. But this time, you won't chase it. It'll come to you. The right people, the right moments, the right alignments. You're no longer trying to make things happen. You're positioned to receive them. You don't have to force it. You don't have to prove yourself. You've already been approved in the courts of heaven. And when heaven approves you, man can't deny you. Doors have no choice but to open. Mountains have no choice but to move. Chains have no choice but to break. Because God's word will not return void. What he spoke over your life, he's bringing it to pass. He's not asking for your perfection. He's only asking for your yes. This is where your yes becomes your key. Every door you thought was locked, watch it swing open. Every opportunity you thought you missed, watch it circle back. Every blessing you thought belonged to someone else, watch it land right where you are. Because when God moves, he doesn't miss. He never miscalculates, and he never forgets his own. You are chosen. You are marked. You are ready. Not because you feel like it, but because God says so. And when he says move, you move. When he says speak, you speak. When he says build, you build, even if it doesn't make sense. Because on the other side of your obedience is overflow. On the other side of your surrender is supernatural supply. You don't need all the answers. You don't need the full picture. All you need is trust. Trust that where God is taking you is far greater than where you've been. Trust that what's ahead will redeem everything that was behind. The pain, the silence, the delays, they'll all make sense soon. Not just in theory, but in experience. You're about to live in what you only spoke about. You're about to touch what you only saw in dreams. And it won't be a glimpse, it will be fullness. This is not a teaser of what's to come. This is what's to come. You've entered the season of fulfillment. Prophecies are turning into testimonies. Visions are becoming reality. And the best part, you'll know it was God. Not luck, not timing, not strategy, but divine orchestration. Because what's about to happen won't make sense naturally. It will only make sense spiritually. That's how you'll know it's him. That's how you'll know it's real. He's doing it for you in such a way that the only explanation will be, God did it. And people will ask, how did it all happen so fast? And you'll smile, because you'll know it wasn't fast. It was right on time. Delays didn't break you. They built you. Silence didn't destroy you. It sharpened you. Pain didn't weaken you. It refined you. You've been tried by fire and come out as gold. Now, God is lifting you, not just to bless you, but to make you a blessing. There are people attached to your obedience, souls that will be rescued by your story, generations that will be shifted because you chose to believe. You're not just carrying favor, you're carrying freedom. Freedom that sets captives loose just by you walking in the room. This is why the fight was so intense, because what you're stepping into now will shake foundations. It'll shift atmospheres, and it'll expose every lie the enemy told you, every whisper that said, it's too late, every fear that said, you missed it, every doubt that said, it's over. All of them are being silenced in this moment, because God's voice is louder, and he's declaring over you right now, you are not late, you are right on time. I have prepared you, I have preserved you, I have positioned you. And now, I am promoting you. That promotion isn't about status. It's about responsibility. You'll carry what others couldn't. You'll lead where others quit. You'll rise where others stayed stuck. And not because you're better, but because you were willing. You didn't need the spotlight. You only needed God. And now, the light is on you, not to glorify you, but to reflect Him. So shine, chosen one. Shine without fear. Shine without hesitation. Shine knowing that every step you take is divinely ordered, that every word you speak is echoing in heaven, that every move you make is backed by the King of Kings. You were created for this, called for this, born for this. Your time has come, not a moment early, not a second too late, but precisely, divinely, beautifully, on time. So walk with your head high, move with your heart open, and lead with the fire that was birthed in the dark. Because the world is about to witness what happens when a chosen one stops doubting and starts walking in destiny. Go, you're ready. You're not late. You're right. On.